Last night, the Toronto Raptors reversed an early 19-point deficit against the Charlotte Hornets to eventually win 111-100. So, what are the key takeaways that we gained from this first preseason game? Let's get into it. Welcome to Amateur Hour Sports, where we give you NBA content with a focus on the Toronto Raptors 4 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. But today, a surprise Sunday upload to talk about the first preseason game. We get Amateur Hour Sports on a Sunday because it's a grand occasion. Raptors basketball is back. The Toronto Raptors just played their first preseason game against the Charlotte Hornets, where after an ugly start, they eventually turned it around and won by a comfortable margin. You know, it kind of looked closer than the game actually was. But Amateur Hour Sports, this channel, we give you a lot of Raptors content. We talk Raptors, we give game reviews, opinions on topics in this vlog or video podcast style. So if you like what you see from today's video and you want to support the channel, you want to see more of myself talking about the Toronto Raptors, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and join the movement of the channel. But today we're talking about that game. We're back to doing some game reviews, and we're going to be doing a game review of the first preseason game against the Charlotte Hornets. I'm going to run down kind of a synopsis of the game, then give you my 3 takeaways from what I saw. Let's get right into the first quarter, where we started pretty well. Like the first 3 or 4 minutes, we started pretty well. I think Fred VanVleet caused 3 turnovers. I think he got credited with 2 steals there, eventually finishing with 5 steals. We looked all right. We went with a full-strength starting lineup. No Kyle Lowry. He didn't travel. We don't know exactly why he didn't travel. However, we put out the best 5 available that we had at our disposal. And we go up 6-3 early. We're doing well. And then all of a sudden, it flips. What was it? Like a 22-0 run, a 23-0 run. We go down 25-6 out of nowhere. From 6-3 up, down 25-6. It was ugly. I thought the Raptors were sluggish and that their offense was rushed. I think they were just sluggish. I think that's the correct word, because the Charlotte Hornets continuously capitalized on fast break situations where the Raptors did not run back and get on defense. And Nick Nurse was in that deep squat on the sidelines early on in the first quarter, and that's when you knew it was going to be a bit of a long game. But then all of a sudden it wasn't. The Raptors, after being all sluggish, not defending in transition, bring in some bench guys like Matt Thomas, and that's where it starts to turn around. Matt Thomas was on fire. On fire last night. Matt Thomas looked so good last night. Was eventually a plus 22 in the game after putting up 16 points. But he comes in, hits some big shots. Like, that guy is ridiculous. He's wet. Absolutely wet from 3. Pascal Siakam did not have a good first quarter, and you kind of rolled your eyes watching him because, oh, not this again. Not this from Spicy P again. Eventually picked it up, but in the first quarter, he was not looking good. It was rough. It was rough watching that early part. But one of the bright spots of that first quarter, along with Matt Thomas, was OG Anunoby. OG was looking pretty slim, if I must say. He was looking a lot leaner in that game, and you noticed it. You noticed it in his explosiveness on offense. You remember the behind-the-back play, goes behind the back, takes it to the hoop for the two-handed dunk? That is a testament to him working in the offseason to slim down, be more athletic, have that little bit extra burst of acceleration when he's on offense. And we know we all are expecting this OG, this huge jump from OG coming. We thought it maybe would have been last year. Can it be this year where he explodes on offense? Maybe this is the year, considering he's slimmed down, he's gotten leaner, he's gotten more athletic. This is going to help him with his explosiveness on offense, and it was noticeable. It was noticeable all throughout the game when he featured. Featured most in the first half. I don't even think he even played in the second half, but that was one thing I noticed there. Then we move on to the second quarter, and we start to actually play well. Maokai Flynn, after an early missed easy and one, and then missed both free throws, that was an ugly start, but then Maokai Flynn got more comfortable on the ball. He was making things happen. Matt Thomas, I'm going to touch on him again because it's not just his shooting. Matt Thomas looks so much more composed and poised on the basketball yesterday. His decision-making dramatically improved from what I was seeing from him last season. Drawing in guys on the perimeter, because if he gets the ball, he's hitting that 3. And after hitting a couple threes early, guys had to D up very tight on him. He pump fakes, and then he's got all the space to drive in. And when he drives in, he had the wits and the smarts to make the right decision with it. Go up for a bank or find the pass inside. His passing was very good yesterday. Matt Thomas as well did well on defense, eventually got 2 steals. I was very happy with what Matt Thomas brought to the game. That was fantastic. That guy is playing himself into the main rotation for the Toronto Raptors if he can continue like that. And I know there's the cliche with the preseason, if you win a preseason game, it matters. If you lose a preseason game, then you say preseason doesn't matter. Preseason doesn't really matter, but you see the development of players in these games, and it is important for these bench guys to earn their minutes in games like this, and Matt Thomas was doing just that. Now, back on Maokai Flynn, I thought Maokai Flynn looked great. His shooting was good, his ball handling was good, his defense was great. Basically what I saw, Maokai Flynn is NBA ready. He is ready to come right into the NBA season and be a contributor on offense and on defense. I was worried he would need a little bit of time. I'm not that worried anymore. I think that he is ready to take a step and be a contributor for the Raptors as we enter the NBA season. The reason we improved so much in the second quarter was because the defense actually started working. I think in the first quarter, I felt like Aaron Baines was a little bit lost on defense. I think he was just a little bit out of sync with the rest of the team in terms of the transition defense, the zonal systems that the Raptors run, the schematics that Nick Nurse has employed. It's your first preseason game with your new team. You can excuse that. Everything got better in the second quarter, and life became a lot more difficult for the Charlotte Hornets. We talked in yesterday's video about the insane bench depth that the Toronto Raptors have, and it was so important yesterday because there's so many guys who can come off the bench and change the game for you, because it was ugly early, but then the bench guys come in and all of a sudden turn the game around. And then it just gives you the momentum that when starters like Siakam come back in, they carry on with that momentum, and Siakam started hitting his shots. Siakam finally started hitting threes again. It was so nice to see Siakam get in flow, get in rhythm, and start to hit his shots. If he's hitting those threes, he wasn't getting those looks on the interior, but when he starts to hit those threes, those looks on the interiors are going to be easier to come by because guys are going to have to D him up better on the perimeter. Another thing I did notice from this game is that it did not feel like preseason. It was intense. It was aggressive. These guys were really working out there. I was very pleased with the product. I thought it might have been ugly, preseason game, but that was not the case at all. Guys were there to play. And we also got to see LaMelo Ball for the first time in a Charlotte Hornets uniform. And my God, we skunked him. He had a decent game. I think he got like 10 rebounds and 4 assists, but he did not register a point. Maokai Flynn, our point guard that we drafted 29th overall, showed out above the number 3 overall pick. Now, I don't think that's going to continue. We'll see what happens in the second game, but the Raptors did well to shut him out. Although LaMelo Ball, his playmaking did look quite good. I will say that. And his size, getting all those rebounds, that'll be pretty important. Obviously, one game into preseason, you can't draw too many conclusions. However, it was just fun to see Maokai Flynn show out above LaMelo Ball in that game. So we get to the third quarter. We start to see more guys come in. Maokai Flynn continued to ball. Matt Thomas continued to ball. The defense looked great. Then we got to see our first glimpse of DeAndre Bembry in a Raptors uniform. And on defense, looked exactly like I thought he would. He's a hound on defense, hunting you down. He hustles. It looked all right. It looked great. Offense, kind of struggled a little bit in some situations with the bench guys coming in. I thought Chris Boucher looked good. I thought, just to touch on Aaron Baines, I thought he looked good other than early on in the first quarter. He hit a 3, hit a nice hook on the interior. Aaron Baines looked pretty good. Drew a charge, drew a foul on an and one. I thought Aaron Baines looked quite good out there. Chris Boucher as well. I think that's got to be your center rotation. Chris Boucher is your backup center to Aaron Baines. It kind of has to be the case. Alex Len looked all right. I think Alex Len could have looked a little bit better. I think he's just there for his size when Chris Boucher's matchups aren't favorable. And I can accept that. I can accept what I saw from Alex Len. Third quarter, started to get a little more bench guys in. Then we get to the fourth quarter. This is where we finally see Paul Watson. I was etching to see him the entire game. Paul Watson gets in and was one of the best players on the court, to be honest, was making good decisions on offense and was being a contributor on defense. He ended with 3 blocks, including 1 chase down swat from behind in the game. That was nasty. Paul Watson had a nice look on the interior, had a nice 3-ball. Paul Watson looked good. What I can say is that he deserves more minutes, and I think he played to earn more minutes from his performance in that game against Charlotte. The game was winding down, but Paul Watson was continuing to show out. And obviously, it was a little bit of garbage time, but I was still very impressed with Paul Watson. We love him on the channel. All the guys in this community, we love Paul Watson. We want to see him get more minutes, and I think that he showed why he deserves more minutes in his spell in that game yesterday. So not as much to say about the third and fourth quarter. The Raptors kind of took control of the game and cruised onwards, and some guys really showed out, like Paul Watson, earned more minutes, I think, and Yuta Watanabe, I don't know if he deserved more minutes. I don't know why he got so many minutes above guys like the Paul Watsons, but maybe they just want to see what he's like. Maybe they want to see him in that setting, or maybe they do want to play him. I'm not sure how much Watanabe is going to be playing, but apparently they do like him based on what I saw in that first preseason game. I personally wasn't a big fan, but I'm willing to see more of him before I make that call. So to wrap up, like I said, let's give you the 3 takeaways I got from the game, the 3 big takeaways I got from the game. The biggest one is Matt Thomas has dramatically improved. If I can just say, based on the one preseason game, obviously, small sample size, but from what I saw, his decision making, it wasn't just his shooting. We know his shooting's there, but his decision making to draw in his check, to drive after a pump fake, to drive in and make the right decision as he's driving in, to, go up for a bank, find a good pass. And his passing was a lot better. His ball handling was a lot better. I was very impressed. His defense as well was a lot better. This is a guy who is going to earn some minutes in the NBA setting this season. I was very, very happy with Matt Thomas. Then we move. The second key takeaway is Maokai Flynn is NBA ready. Everything I saw from him, other than his first layup miss and free throw misses, he can shoot, he can play make, he can be a great defensive stopper. Maokai Flynn looks like he's ready to take the NBA by the scruff of the neck and be a big contributor, be the backup point guard for the Toronto Raptors. Then the third key takeaway is Paul Watson needs more minutes. Looked great when he was on the floor, looked great on offense, looked great on defense, very athletic for his size. We knew this about him. He's got to get more minutes. But that wraps it up from me for today. Let me know what you guys thought about our first preseason game against the Charlotte Hornets. We have another one coming up tomorrow. Same team, same location. How do you think that's going to go? Let me know all your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. But again, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. If you are still here, please like the video if you like, and subscribe to Amateur Sports for more content just like this. Again, NBA content with a focus on the Toronto Raptors Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. But today, you get a nice little Sunday upload to talk about the game. Next week, tomorrow, when the game happens, we've got our usual Monday video coming out, and Wednesday's video, I won't be able to talk about the game that happens tomorrow because I'll be away, but there still will be a video coming out. I'll give you more information about that in that video, but there won't be a game review for that video, unfortunately. I'll be away. I'm busy. Unfortunately, I can't do it, but I will be back to usual game reviews onwards from that day. At the end of the day, I believe what I say. If you disagree, that is okay. We'll see you again next time for another video.